Hello, everybody. Everybody's doing something but old Lonesome Hodges. Oh, I got on here tonight for y'all because I don't absolutely have nothing to say. So that means y'all gonna have to help me. Parson, KK, Lisa, Pamela Vargas, Michelle, T Sleeper. Y'all gonna have to help me tonight. I don't have nothing to say, y'all. Can you believe it? Can't say. What you got to say, you always got something to say. Not tonight. But I try to think of something. Hey there, baby. Hey there, Joanne Snuggs. You know, I like that name. That Snuggs. I like that name. Joanne Snuggs. Did you get your boat fixed? Yeah, my boat's fixed. It's ready to go. Yeah, I have watched it a little bit there, fam. Did you get your chicken? No, I didn't ever go to town, y'all. I, you know, I couldn't decide what I wanted to do today. I thought about it a long time. I mean, I really did. Me too today. We're busy. We just been remodeling a house today. We moved our chickens, run there. We look like a bunch of hillbillies, but it's almost moved. Hey, hey, Miss Myrtle. Oh, yo, I tried to decide wanted to go out there and do a video. If, I mean, my boat's, it's, it's finished, y'all. It's truck's hooked up to it. Hello, Nicky Sticks. I guess you know who Nicky Sticks is, don't you? The real Nicky Sticks. He's a bass player. I know you know that. Did you watch any good movies? No, I hadn't. I mean, I've hardly even watched TV or, I mean, hey, I've just laid around and, just laid around. Kind of watch TV and doze off and go to sleep. Talk to Tammy a couple of times. Talked to Stephen one time, talked to White Earth, and that's it. I read a bad comment a while ago, but it wasn't enough to fire me up. On this one I've had. On this one I've had, in a pretty good while. I just went ahead on and hit them. Somebody like that. And I really ain't felt real good, like I was when I went to town the other day. Yeah, I don't know, man, I got stuff I want to do. It's it's really almost a little crazy. Hey, that will catch you. It's really almost a little crazy, like how you want to do stuff, but you are not doing nothing. Hey, y'all, I pretty well. I got my big camera out, and I ordered some more batteries for it. Ordered another tripod. Them tripods, they don't last long. And Stephen gets them too. Hey, Teresa. Oh, I've had a couple of uh tripods for tablets. They both gone, and he probably don't even know it wasn't his. But I didn't ever use the tablet. We didn't never film with the tablet. Tammy has a couple times, but that stuff gets mixed up. And they cheap enough to not to go over there yelling at him. You got my tripod. Hey y'all, today's the day I hadn't done nothing. Kind of just thinking, and stuff. I called up, got on the White Earth. Well, he called me, matter of fact. But when he did, I got on to him. You know, all my rowdy friends have rowdied on down. Yeah, well, we try to be careful, but they pretty flimsy. Them $25 and $30, they pretty flimsy. Boozing around in the love machine took a toll on you. No, that moving around is what gets me. Where you're standing up 3 or 4 hours. And Tammy had a video she done this morning, and it's coming slow. Coming along slow. And it started picking up. I hate to drown Tammy out because I got big hopes for Tammy, you know. You know, everybody likes Tammy, you know. Hey, Angela Cole. Hi, Danny. My feelings are still hurt from being hacked on your comments. I got burnt first time trying to join in. Hey, hey, Angela, you have to tell me what you're talking about. My feelings hurt from being hacked on your comments. I got burnt first time trying to join in. Hey, did I do something more? Was it me that done something, Angel? Just put it in the comments there and I'll try to read it and see what you're talking about. Hey there, Robbins. Yeah. Yeah, I was kind of thinking, y'all, I think I was thinking this yesterday that I actually got pretty good little bit of friends, you know, but they don't want to do nothing no more. And me and Edwin used to do stuff, and, you know, Ed Higgs, you know, we used to do stuff. Me and White Earp did too. But he's working, you know. I'm still here. Have been for years. Hey, Angela, tell me what happened. You want to come on here, Pamela? Help me talk? Hey there, me, Ma. Yeah, I'm glad you let me know because I wouldn't have known. I looked at that. I looked at the bank thing today, and that's a pretty expensive trip they on up there. Cause I mean, it ain't. They spent a lot of money at the Walmart. Okay, Pam, just let me know when you get ready. Or I'll go ahead and send you an uh, email. Y'all give me just a minute. I really might need some help tonight, y'all. I really might. Hey there, Mr. Tim. How you doing, buddy? You know, I know that, I know not everybody, y'all, but I know like good many of y'all like me to get on here, just have something to do. I reckon whether I got a lot to say or not, you know. Oh, let's see, what was that about the tickets? Yeah, yeah, they went to, I sent the email to you, Pam. They went to that Dixie Stampede or something. I think they said it was $89 a ticket. And I mean, I don't care, if I mean, I really don't care. I really don't care. I really don't. But it's still a lot, you know. Someone posted a comment using my name, and it devastated me because I have supported you in your. Really? You know, I do think I remember that, Angel. I do think I remember that. Is it a good show? Hey, that the first time I ever went up there to Pigeon Forge, I was talking to a man. His first day I went up there. He told me, he said, everything's too commercialized. I said, what you talking about? And he told me, and hell, still didn't know what he was talking about. But when I left, I understood what he was talking about. She bought 2 bags of, I seen on the bank statement. I said, what's that? $50. And I was just talking to her, y'all. I don't raise, what, we don't raise hell about money. I was just talking, just have a conversation with her, talking on the phone. I said, what was that, $50? I think we was talking about it being expensive too. I said, what was that, $50? She said, I bought 2 bags of that, what's that candy I was telling y'all she likes? That hard stuff. It sure is now. But I mean, I'm telling you, I don't mind it. I really don't mind. Yeah, peanut brittle, thank you, Nikki. I don't mind it, y'all, but it just, it's too rich for my blood. I just think more of a dollar just to piss it away, Um, take me to the river. The Dixie Stampede in Pigeon Forge is a dinner and the show. The dinner is quite large and includes dessert. Usually, if you go, one of the promotions for the cabs. Yeah, there's dinner included. But see, I don't care nothing about horses and stuff. And I mean, I reckon that's what it's about. Horses. I ain't like Steven, about goats and animals and stuff like that. I like dogs and cats, and then like far as a goat or something, I don't care nothing about no goats. Yeah, I told Tammy one of her comments said she needs to go to Dollywood. She said, "Was Dave being a smart aleck?" I said, no, they just ain't. They just didn't see your other video. But hey, I just don't care that much about that kind of thing too much. Well, everything's high up there, Michelle. Now, Pamela, how you know so much about it and you were living over in Texas? Hey, what's on my mind, is really, I got a bunch of stuff that I want to do, but you really need help doing, you know, the stuff I want to do. You really need somebody helping you. And then the river's real low, you know. Yeah, I hear you there, Pam. Hey, you can type pretty fast, can't you? Pam, you remind me of somebody that I used to know. They would tell you how much experience they had at everything they done. And it added up to more years than what he was alive. And you've had every kind of job, but you must, yeah, I see that. You know, y'all, the world is sitting there waiting. And I was watching, y'all know the band Boston. I was watching them talk that Brad Deal, and they was turned down by every major, every uh, producer they was. Oh, I know that, family. I don't doubt you none. But I've noticed you've had a bunch of jobs, though. They was turned down by every producer. And then the one that finally hired them is somebody that had turned them down. They was the first one that turned them down. I used to, I used to take my youngest to Six Flags and stuff. And it was great. And then they got this thing where, well, it's done like everything. You know, Disney World, it's money, money, money. Everything's money, money, money. My dad saved $100 back in the day and took my mom and us 4 kids to Six Flags. Oh, man, that was back in the day there. And I'm talking about the one in Atlanta. On the outskirts of Atlanta. And I guess what's happened to me, y'all, happens to all old people. Oh, ain't up to date on the prices. And I'll tell you what I'm talking about. I don't know how a whale costs $10,000. I put a whale in about 25 years ago, and it was $1,800. And like cigarettes, when I started smoking, it was about 50 cents a pack. I'd go, there was a store up here on 80 Highway, and I'd walk across. There used to be a little dirt road that went through Stevens land over there up to 80 Highway because it was fields, you know. They planted stuff over there. But they had a little road, you know, for the tractor to go through there. And I'd go up there and get one pack of cigarettes. Yeah, you made me remember something there, Pamela. Oh, I mean, you can go on a cruise, you know. And I don't care about no cruise neither. But David, when we was down at the river the other day, they was telling me how great a cruise was. And I don't care how great it is. I still don't want to go. And I ain't saying everybody's like that. It's just me. Yeah, I mean, so y'all know what I'm talking about. Just behind on the times. Oh, I think I remember how much this land here that we own and all that land. I think I remember how much it was. And I know how much that land is across the road over there. And man, there's a lot of difference, boy. You'd rather sit on the beach. Me too, T Sleeper. I ain't, man, hey, listen here, y'all. You know, we all have to kind of watch our money. I mean, most of us do, according to statistics. Most of us have to watch our money and just go and spend it like wildfire. Now, I know you don't live but one time, but I just, you know, I mean, I'm just not. I'm not a fool about money. And y'all, I mean, I used to play poker and everything, but to me, it wasn't even a gamble. It was a sure thing. I knew I was going to win money. Hey, that's right. That's right, drum son. I just, you know, like Christmas, you know, I remember when it used to be pretty simple, but not anymore. You know, all them grand youngers we got. My husband and I own 300 acres in North Carolina, offers daily to buy it from us. Well, buddy, if you got 300 acres, you in good shape. I guarantee you in good shape. Y'all got 300 acres. That's like better than the stock market, Angela. I would rather take a road trip and see a little towns and history along the way. That's me too, Pam. You know, I've thought about it, They got these little RV parks all over the place. And I don't know if we could afford that. But I really wouldn't mind I really wouldn't mind. Yeah, well it's better than the stock market, Angel. I really wouldn't mind like going to the and staying a couple of days and then go to another. Then go to another. Now I'd rather do that than I had to go to Pigeon Forge. And they love to go, y'all. They love it. And Tammy ain't never rambled too much. Well, about all we ever done is like went down to Savannah Beach. And we ain't ever stayed down there many times. 'Cause they got a place down there you can stay on the beach. And we have stayed there. But I mean, last time I was there, it's like $200 a night. And when we stayed, we didn't stay on our room, wasn't on the beach side. And I mean, if you ain't on the beach side, you might as well just be in a regular motel, hadn't you? But hey, Tammy has to go to the doctor. You know what I mean? Even though she's not working, she's still, you know what I mean? I mean, y'all know what I'm saying. I gotta be home the 15th. I would rather go camping and fishing and go on a cruise. I don't like cruising. Been there, didn't like. Yeah, I ain't never been to a cruise, but I don't. I mean, man, oh, hey Pamela, oh, if I was drinking or something, it might be different. But I ain't drinking. Hey, Rich, White Earp went. Him and a bunch of his sisters and stuff, and man, they loved it. As a matter of fact, his sister, one that's in that video, I think they done went back, since I know they was fitting to go. When I was down at the river, we was down at the river. I knew that they was fitting to go, so they might be gone now. And I was talking to Richard. He's done been a bunch of times. Boy, that's just, I don't know. I don't know what ails me about that, you know. You gonna put your picture on there, Pamela? And we've been camping a lot. That's what we done, but like, it's not a bunch of money camping. But I just ain't never been a fool about money. Like going to the fair and just being a fool. I'm finna put you up there. Let me see what I'm doing here. I might better put my earphones on. But like camping's hard work, y'all. Hey, Pamela.
Yes, sir.
Hey, was you gonna sit there and wait me? I'll let you.
Yes, sir.
Hey,
Hello,
you.
everybody.
And Pamela can tell you all about it, y'all.
What, camping?
Hell, anything.
Oh, I can tell you about I can tell you about my camping experiences.
uh,
What?
I
My
said,
camping experience?
yeah.
Mm, I've camped in a tent. I've camped with no tent and no cover on a beach outside of my van, open air in the woods, inside of a van, inside of a truck, inside of a camper, in a cabin, in the heat, in the cold.
Hey, it sounds like us.
Yeah,
We went, we went quite a while before we ever got a tent.
yeah. I
And
know we didn't have a tent for a while. We used to go down to uh Galveston and camp on the beach on the Gulf side, and yeah, no tent, just on a cot on the beach.
well, we'd have a sleeping bag, but
Yeah,
we lay on the ground.
yeah.
Yeah, cold weather and everything.
Oh yeah. We used to go to the deer lease, and we had a in like 2008. We had a 1973 Ford Econoline, and we converted. It was actually my husband's father's van, and we converted it. Well, he had converted it, and then we did some things to make changes. But he had this old, like, screened in porch that snapped on to the top of a Winnebago motorhome. And so my husband drilled holes on the water dripping trim on the van, and we would use twist ties and put that thing attached to the van. It was a screen. It was just the screen enclosure. And then we had these. They were really actually tent poles. We'd put the tent poles in the ground, and we'd hang up clotheslines and attach blue tarps to the clotheslines. Then, of course, it was only three sides. So the part that met up with the van was wide open underneath the van. But we put two cots in there, and we put a
Where was
propane
y'all
heat.
at?
About 70 miles out of Houston on my son-in-law's family's property for deer hunting.
Is that
And
what y'all
there's,
was y'all hunting or just messing around?
yeah, deer and hogs. And that property has no water, no electricity, no cell phone service. It's, as a matter of fact, one time my son-in-law caught a poacher sitting in his box blind, and he held him, at point, and it took an hour for the local sheriff to find the place because it wasn't even on their local county maps. The
Dang.
property wasn't. It was on the tax records, but it was not on the local county maps. It wasn't on GPS. It was just one of those kind of places where when you get off of the main highway, you just drive off to a country road, a 2-lane blacktop road, and then you drive off onto a 2-lane dirt road, and then all of a sudden that 2-lane road turns into a worn down trail through some pastures, and then it was actually a cotton plantation at one time, and it was about, oh my gosh, probably 1,000 acres, and they divided the acreage up and they sold it off to veterans in 19, I think his grandfather bought the property in 1963, and he bought 40 acres. And it just a wild place when you just drive down there. You're out in the middle of nowhere. That's how we slept. Was some of the boys had campers, but we just had our van with the tent on it and the propane. And when the temperatures get down into the 30s and you're sleeping with a propane heater in a screened in tent, it got pretty frigid cold out there.
Mm-hmm.
But my son-in-law doesn't hunt there. He hunts, actually leases. That's a 40-acre lot, and he leases a 200-acre. My two son-in-laws, they lease 200 acres up the road, about maybe 4 properties away. and that's where everybody hunts now. Well, my girls, two girls, and all my grandkids. So that's where they hunt. My granddaughter shot a doe during youth season. My son-in-law shot a 10-point buck during bow season this year already. So that's how they fill the freezers. And they have four adults and uh, five kids, 6 to 15 hunting, ages 6 to 15. So I guess my grandson just turned 7, and he went out last weekend. So that was he didn't get anything, but that was his first weekend actually, you know, trying to get something.
When's the last time you've been camping?
Uh, our camper sits on our friend's 300-acre farm, and
Oh, y'all still got a camper?
yeah, we leave it parked at my cowboy's friend's on his farm.
Yeah.
He has 300 acres, and it's been 3 years because he can't get in and out of the trailer anymore. So with his ailments, we just can't because it's
It
that
ain't.
property
It ain't as easy as it used to be, is it?
not with his ailments. If he was well, I can do it, but he just can't. So yeah, we don't go.
Yep, that's bad.
Yeah, yeah. But you know what? In sickness and in health, that's what happened.
The boy that. So when I was about probably about let's see, probably about 16 years old, I started hanging around with this boys. It's the one I bought the boat motor from, and the one that Stephen bought the. Uh, me and Stephen bought the houseboat, and I bought the motor.
Uh huh.
But it was that boy there. I started hanging around him when I was about 16. Now I had knew him a long time. I started hanging around, and
Uh huh.
when he started out, his daddy would take us camping and hunting, and I mean, he introduced us to the camping world
Yeah.
and fishing. And then that boy's granddaddy was also like he liked to hunt squirrels and stuff. And anyway, that boy is still like that. I mean, he's a man now, same age as me.
Right.
He's still like that. Uh, he's got a bunch of land on the river,
Yeah.
and it's lease land. I don't want to lead nobody wrong. It's not his land, but it's land that they lease, and they got about 5 people that hunt on it, and they charge us a bunch of money, but it is real good land, and
Yeah.
they camp there all a lot.
Yeah. Well,
He's got a big old tent down there.
I grew up in the city in Detroit, and my parents tried camping once or twice, but my mother was a city girl. I mean, she grew up on a farm, but she wasn't really a city girl after she grew up and married my dad. Of course, my dad was a city boy. And, I mean, he did the army thing, but not like camping or fishing. But his thing was, when he was a young boy, someone had given him a BB gun and he shot a bird and it didn't finish it. And, he saw that suffering. And from then on, he couldn't hunt. He couldn't do it.
Yeah,
So then,
that's what got me, but it wasn't. It was a hog with a wild hog with pigs.
yeah, with piglets, yeah. But he just couldn't hunt. He liked to fish, but my parents just they would save the money and we would travel because my mom had family in California and my dad had all his family went to California, and then my mom's family biggest portion was in South Dakota. So one year we'd
What have you
travel
got
up.
to? What have you got to do with the military?
My dad was in the military.
You know that. You know that I sensed that. Uh, like I.
But I didn't live in the military.
Well, I
I,
mean,
I,
I ain't saying that, but like, I sensed you had something to do with the military.
in what way?
That your life was something to do with the military.
Oh, really? My
Yeah.
dad's was.
Well, if your
My
dad's
father
was,
was.
well, if his
Huh?
was, yours was too.
Well, I know, but he was out of the military long before he adopted me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
My
I don't
father,
know.
yeah, my father was the youngest of 16 children, and
Man,
he um, he felt really bad that all of his brothers. He had a he had some brothers in the Romanian army, much older,
well,
and
hold on, Pam. You was adopted.
when I was 4.5.
Okay. Have you ever seen your real mom and daddy?
No,
Did you want to?
um, I never really wanted to see them, but when I had my first child, I had some inherited health issues,
Yeah.
and that doctor had said we should not have any more children, and I wanted to know what those health issues could be beyond what happened with my first child. So I contacted the state and I was told some stuff, and it wasn't anything really shocking, heart. That was it. That was the only thing that was listed. Uh Both of my biological parents were only children. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
there was nothing else, and it was all legally closed, so there was no information to be had really. But then,
Well, I reckon they probably gone now, ain't they?
oh yes.
But like,
Yes.
let me get back to this because this is a big thing. So I know a man that's got a daughter, and uh, he's never seen her, and she
Mhm.
don't, and she don't even know who he is.
Mhm.
The 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 girls, I think she's in her 30s now,
Mhm.
but her mama died, see,
Uh-huh.
and he don't know whether to go tell her. And that's the reason I'm asking about this. There's always, okay, I'll get the mic a little closer to me. So, uh, that's a pretty big thing about whether you want to. I think, like most people, wanted to know who their mom and daddy was.
Well, here's the story. Like, everybody has different upbringings within the boundaries of their legal adoption. When I was adopted, all the records were closed by the state because I was taken away from my biological parents. So it was a legal case through CPS that I was removed from their custody.
Yeah,
So the case was closed. So if that's the circumstance, then the adopted person has no way of finding out. Now, that was in the 50s. So now in the 90s, the state of Michigan changed their laws and the United States changed their laws. So some laws of adoption are regulated by federal laws and some are by state laws. So depending on what state you're in, the laws can be different. Now, I personally, at 50, was able to write to my state and request documents. And the state was required to release the documents with the whole story. However, it was still against federal law for them to release the parents' names. So,
so I say, Las Vegas, Nevada. She said she didn't know her daddy, and
yeah, and
I think there's actually more of that than I thought there was. There's a
yeah, well,
lot of
you have to think like because of my situation, everything was closed by the law. So when I started to look, what I ended up getting was a packet that had so much horrendous negative history in it. But at 50 something, I was mentally stable enough to handle it. I was emotionally stable enough. And the thing about it is, nowadays, with open adoptions and so on and so forth, we never know who, like Las Vegas said, her aunt said that her dad wasn't who her mom told her. Well, yeah, a lot of people do that. A lot of people get pregnant out of wedlock and they don't say who the dad is, or they never relinquish the information. The mother never tells. A lot of men go through life never even knowing they were a father. And then there's those women. I know of a personal situation. Somebody was married to somebody. divorced the woman. Yet, after the divorce, this friend of mine still had relationship with the woman. And then out of the clear blue sky, the married woman, the ex-wife, who's now married to someone else, says, "Oh, we can't see each other anymore. I'm pregnant." So this man is led to believe that the ex-wife is pregnant by her husband until, and the kid is raised thinking that his mother's husband, that she says is his dad. Man is 53 years old and he still thinks the guy that his mother said is his dad is his dad. Here's the catch. I only met the 53-year-old one time.
Hey.
He's my friend's son. She never admitted it. She never admitted it to my friend that he was the father because the guy that she was currently married to made more money. So
Uh-huh.
why would she want, you know, the carpenter as a father and ruin her marriage to the attorney? Why would she do that?
Yeah.
And that man grew up and still thinks to this day that that was his biological father. 50 some years. So there are people out there who, one, the father doesn't know that he ever fathered a child, or a child grows up thinking the man that was in the house was the father. Look, I'll give you another example. My daughter has twins. On a one night stand, she got pregnant by a married man. Never, the children had never seen him. He never supported them. She took him to court and he's supposed to pay child support. He never did. He went back to his other family. Well, all of a sudden, you got a 40-year-old man that wants to see his twins that want to know the man that lives in their house that they call their father, their dad. He's the only man that's ever been in their house. In their mind, at the time, oh, I'm sorry, Las Vegas. Um, at the time, the kids were 11 and they loved their dad. He's the only man they've ever known. But my daughter felt that it was time, and the man that they think is their dad thought that it was important that they knew. He's raised them since they were 2 years old, and he thought they should know. And now they've met him. They've met the wife. They've met the half brothers and sisters. It's just another person in their life. He's just another person. See, Las Vegas, let me tell you, on my adoption papers, I had a biological mother and a father. And the father was called the alleged father because the husband claimed that my biological mother had been having an affair. So on my documents, I don't know if the man that's named in the documents was my biological father, or if there's another man out there. But the bottom line is, for me personally, I had two parents who spent 12 years trying to adopt a child because my mother wasn't able to have a child. They spent 12 years and they adopted me when I was 4.5 and loved me and raised me like a princess. And, you know, 6 years after they adopted me, they adopted a new baby. Not a biological child, but another child. And they raised my brother like he was their own. And maybe, yeah, see, there you go. You don't know. And I guess the thing is that I just accepted that it's all about love. It's about the love that we receive in life. You know, when they say, uh, you can't buy love or love isn't blood only, that you can love someone that doesn't have the same blood running through their veins. That's been proven to me as an adult many, many times.
Oh, yeah.
My second husband, he loved my children. I have to tell you that 2 days ago, my youngest daughter, we have a Facebook page that was my husband, and my youngest daughter posted a very sentimental and loving post on that page. My children loved him as much as any man they could love. They didn't have the same blood. And now they love my cowboy. And my grandchildren love him. And because of the way you show love, you receive love. And that's all this, what people don't understand, that parenthood is a gift, whether it's a biological gift, whether it's an unplanned gift, whether it's by a marriage only gift, by adoption. Well, see, there you go. But it's all about the love. Parenthood is a gift from God. And the gift from God is to care for the children in our lives, no matter what.
Uh, didn't my mama find out she had a half sister?
Uh, I thought William was a half sibling.
He is, but like there was a nuddin, and I mean,
Oh,
and and I mean they didn't find it out until like they ain't been. It ain't been a long time ago they found out about it. Her name was Robin.
was that through her mom?
Hey, I think it was the daddy.
Oh, like like William. and Miss Helen have the same dad,
Yeah, they
but
don't have
this
the
girl.
same. They don't have the same mom.
Oh, okay.
But it's been a while since. And that woman died.
Right.
But it's been a while since I heard that. And I don't know. At the time, I really don't think I hardly even really. Just to be honest with you, I don't even hardly even think I even cared.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't much to me.
Right.
But I reckon that was hey, I reckon that was her daddy's. But it was like something or other.
With this DNA family tree stuff, if you think that stuff is real, then I guess if you had a sibling out there, um, like Las Vegas, if you thought that there was a sibling out there or a half sibling or something, you could literally have a DNA test and then it goes into a computer system. And if there's somebody that has shared DNA with you, those names pop up. I mean, that's how they do all that ancestry. They have those ancestor shows.
Yeah. Yeah, I know
And
I knew a man that had a daughter, and he never. Now they done the DNA thing. He was the father,
right,
and he paid child support and everything. And I don't think he ever had nothing to do with her. And I
yeah,
told him, I, 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 I told him 2 times, like what a great youngin' that youngin' was, and she's a nurse now.
huh? Las Vegas.
He didn't want nothing to do with her.
I see where you said you can still have a DNA test because your DNA is half of your biological mother and half of your biological father. And if your biological father had other children and they are listed in the DNA system, there will be people in that DNA system that have half of your biological father's DNA. It
So
doesn't go away.
how would she go about doing that? Cause it sounds like she would like to know how would she go about getting her DNA tested and in the
You can
computer.
go you can go online and you can buy DNA kits and you can go online. Well, from personal experience, we bought a DNA kit online and we did a DNA test um, with my husband that passed away and his father because my sister-in-law,
Hey, what? Hold on a second, ma'am. What she was saying is
yes,
if
and that,
there's other youngins, they would match you. If there's other youngins that's online, that's in the computer, you would be linked to the youngins.
Yes.
Ain't that what you said, Pamela?
Yes. And so, like,
Where do you go
let's
to do that, Pamela?
just go online and look up DNA test.
Where does she go do hers? And how does she omit it?
She goes online, she researches at home DNA tests. And the company that sells that test offers the search. So, like, you and me and three, or whatever that place was called, you buy a kit from a DNA company, you send the sample back to that DNA company. That DNA company runs the test and sends you information. And then you just start looking.
Would it go back like if she found out she had a sister somewhere? Does it go deeper than the sisters or brothers?
If some DNA companies, they have a public DNA connection. So let's say I go to DNA testing company Red and I send my DNA testing in, but someone who matches me goes to DNA company Blue. If we both sign a document allowing our DNA company to release our data publicly, anybody can look at it. So if there's somebody from another company out there looking for DNA that matches them and they see that I'm a match to them, if I give the authorization, either their company can contact my company or my company can contact me and send the information out.
It is Bear Paw. She knows a little bit about that, I think.
Hey, Bear Paws. Bear Paws is good about the uh, research, the family history research. She's the one that did Miss Helen's family
Yeah,
tree.
yeah, yeah. That stuff's like overwhelming, you know.
Yeah, they have a TV show that does that. They did it with famous people. You know, famous people find out, like, they think uh their ancestors are from, yeah, well, see, there you go. Families are funny. A lot of times, you know, birth, unwanted uh births, or, you know, secret births are just hidden by families. You know, the old story of high school girl gets pregnant and they send her to live with her, great aunt in a completely different state. There you go, Las Vegas and Ancestry. Ancestry.com.
Hey, that's something else there now.
Yeah. My husband that passed away, his sister, they're all Hispanics. Everybody from Mexico. Everybody. And that long line and long family story about their lives and their relatives in Mexico. Well, when uh, when Hurricane uh, Ike came through and their house was destroyed in Galveston, there was a thing that FEMA was giving rebuild loans to anybody. Yeah, see 23 and me. They were giving rebates to anybody with Native American bloodlines. So they had been on a vacation and they saw a picture, a photograph, an old photograph from like the early 1900s, old fashioned photos
Hey,
in an art museum in San Antonio. Good grief. And he looked just like my father-in-law with long hair. And it turns out he even had my father-in-law's name and the family name. So she thought for sure that my husband and his family had American Indian in them, and that somebody had lied for years that they were 100% Mexicans. So she did a DNA test. That's wonderful, Miss McCredo. Um, so she went and did the blood test, and it turns out that she connected with an Irishman in Colorado, and he had photographs from the 1800s of a Hispanic woman that was their housekeeper in Colorado. So it appears as though somebody somewhere, you know, betted the Mexican maid or something. I don't know. But the Irish guy had Mexican blood, and the Mexican sister in law had Irish blood. Never found, never found Native American blood, but they found their Irish ancestors. Wow, that's crazy. But the funny part is about that whole outcome of that DNA, Danny, was that for some odd reason, my 100% Mexican husband loved Irish bagpipes. The funniest thing, he could listen to Irish bagpipes or the Scottish bagpipes and music all day long. It was the oddest thing. So I don't know, maybe 100 years ago, maybe there was a Scotsman in the bloodline.
Hey, it's a wonder that
Well,
we ain't. It's a wonder that we not all kin. As much stuff goes on.
well, I think it all boils down to Las Vegas. I'm just curious if you don't mind me asking. Did you have a man that raised you that you called father all along? Wow, that's interesting, Macredo. But yeah, Danny, my children's father, they all claim to be uh French. I mean, we're talking for many generations. French, American, and French Canadians. But there's some photographs, like early tin print photographs of a so-called like great 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 grandfather with
Yeah.
some native
Uh,
Canadians. Well, if she's alive, can you still ask her, or did you say she's passed? Las Vegas. Anyways, I swear the oddest thing is that in the American French people from my ex-husband, they're all wow, there you go. Danny, did you read that?
yeah,
Bear
I was reading it.
Yeah, Bear Paw says you could be cousins somehow. But it's really interesting that in that on the father-in-law's side, those French people are all very light complected. But over on that Canadian side, where that photograph with the one native has been around for years, my ex mother in law had four sisters. Three of
Hey,
them,
hey, Bear Pause. That's what I was saying. It's a wonder. With, it's a wonder we ain't all kin. And I ain't joking.
well, yeah. So these French people, they all claim they're all directly from France. That they were immigrants that came to Canada through Canada and were trappers and such. Well, I happen to have out of my four really white girls, I happen to have one that's the only one that has almost black eyes and olive colored skin, like two of my ex mother in law's sisters did. So my children's great grandmother from Canada and great grandfather from Canada were light complected with green eyes, green and blue eyes. But they had one daughter or two daughters that were dark complected with brown eyes in the what early early 30s. So somewhere in the bloodline, that olive colored skin with black eyes shows up.
That
It's
stuff's
just
kind of amazing to me.
it's genetics. It's recessive genes. It's like with my girls, their dad had real dark hair. I had lighter hair. I have green eyes. He has dark brown eyes. I have three children with green eyes and light skin and light hair coloring, and one that was light hair color when she was little, and she dyes it now. But if she didn't dye it, it'd be black. And she's got dark brown eyes and olive colored skin. She always thought she was the mailman's child. They always joke about that. Are you sure, Mom? Are you sure? And I'm like, well, unless they swapped you in the hospital.
I
And
wouldn't
further,
doubt. I wouldn't doubt that
yeah.
my brother didn't have more youngest because that used to be him and his buddy's hobby.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, man, they was terrible.
Yeah. And the funny part is the one that has the darker complexion and the darker eyes, she is like almost a twin to my ex-husband's uh aunt on the father's side. Everything. Everything. As a matter of fact, she could drive about 70 miles from here where her it'd be her second cousin lives and his children, and she'd look at him and think she was looking in a mirror. But that was all just through DNA. Ah, I see.
Bear Paws, you
So
ought to get on here and talk.
yeah, get Bear Paws on here.
All I have to do is send you an email, Bear Paws. You come
You
up on the
know,
screen just like Pamela is.
Las Vegas, if you don't, the DNA test would be great because of the situation in the environment that you grew up in. But um, sometimes in these situations, sometimes it's better to love ourselves through it because the story that we find out is not as nice as we think it should be. You know, when you watch things on TV and you see all these wonderful family reunions, they all don't end up that way. And sometimes the separations from those biological families was actually a blessing. In my case, it was a blessing. Yeah, that 23andMe mouth swabs, that's what we did, Macrito. So are you talking about the second husband or your biological? Oh no, you said your mom remarried at 17 when you were 17 months. My story is an incredible story. And I'm just I came, like I said, came from a man and a woman. I was the 10th child. Supposed biological father says I wasn't his. Go through the court documents to find out the other nine children were barely, well, several of them were institutionalized. Uh, some of them were very incapable of being educated, let's just call it that. Said biological father, uh, um, says I wasn't his. Well, I can only guess. Unless my parents that adopted me, um, did some kind of a miraculous thing, I'm not, I'm not mentally challenged, let's just say. Court documents say there were 9 children who were all mentally challenged. Not me. So I can't help but feel that I wasn't that man's child. That woman somehow did have an affair with somebody that had a little bit of smarts. Instead of having another child with the dummy that created 9 mentally challenged kids. I don't know. Unless she had babies with 10 different daddies, I don't know. I don't think they did that back in the 50s. But see, like I said, I grew up knowing all along that I was adopted. I grew up all along being told that I was special because I was adopted. The whole, well, there you go. You probably should just be grateful for the life that you have now, I guess, Las Vegas. I guess, every family, every town. Yep, that's right, Drummond son, whoever it was. I'm a firm believer that can be a, you know, anybody can father a child, but it takes a man to be a daddy. Same thing with a woman. A woman can mother a child giving birth, but that doesn't make her a good mother.
I don't see drummer son.
He said, the man that raised you and provided for you and cared for you throughout the years and loved and took care of your mother is your father, and the other guy was just the sperm donor.
I don't see him on my screen.
Huh, 6 seconds ago. And
Yeah,
this is real. This is a new feature, Danny, because remember before I couldn't see the comments,
yeah.
and now I'm watching the comments come through. Now it says 2 seconds. And 11 seconds ago, Las Vegas says, I've been told my mother's got 5 kids and no one has the same dad.
Eh,
And now Michelle says, I don't see him either. Oh my gosh, I must be seeing in the dark over here. Refresh your screen or something.
all right, I can do that.
Yeah, and like I said, when it comes to life, I post this all the time. James 1, verse 2 and 3. Count it all joy, good or bad, count it all joy. Because everything happens under God for a reason. You see, my father, my mother wanted a child. She couldn't have children. Um, uh, Due to the fact that she had a burst appendix that went unattended on a military base for 2 weeks until my dad took a military leave and drove her back to Detroit. And by that time, the infection had traveled through her whole body, and she ended up having to have a complete hysterectomy. So she could never have children at 26 years old. But she wanted children so bad. But they couldn't adopt. Uh, wow, Las Vegas, I'm sorry. But they couldn't adopt because at the time, uh, in the 50s, they were going through uh, the Korean War and such. And oh, yeah, see, families are funny. They couldn't adopt because my dad was in the military. And so when my father finished his military, uh, they kept
Well, hey,
trying.
tell me what Bear Paws is saying right here.
What did she say? She said she decided to do a family tree after her mother died because her mother seemed very secretive. And when she called her sister to get information, maybe she called her aunt to get the information, she said, uh, oh no, child, please don't do the tree. So evidently the family didn't want the family tree to be investigated.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
I
So
didn't
my
know
mom and
exactly
dad,
what she was saying there, but I see it there.
yeah. So back then they didn't want military families uh, to adopt. So they kept trying, and when he got out, they bought a home, and they kept trying, and my father secured a good job at the bank, and one of his very first customers just happened to be a family court judge. And my dad got to know him and kept telling him, we want a child, we want a child. And out of the clear blue sky, this judge came to my dad one day and said, I got a kid, but she's 4.5. What do you think?
Hey, Bear Paws, like, that ain't exactly right, is it? I mean, like somebody calling the shots for somebody else, and probably calling the shots for a lot of people. I mean, it seems like to me that's kind of selfish.
Well, yeah,
It,
but it happens. You,
somebody. saying don't do a family tree.
Well, you never know. It's kind of like I said, Danny. Families have secrets. Maybe somebody, you know, was raped, or maybe somebody had relations with a cousin, or, you know, the boy next door, and it happened to be a Hatfield and McCoy kind of situation, and they didn't want anybody to know. Um,
And what is, I mean, I'm not following what Las Vegas is
she's
saying.
saying that she's saying that the man that raised her uh, raped her sister,
Oh,
and that charges were filed, and he walked.
all right, and read what Bear Paws is saying.
She said she asked her aunt why her mom never would talk about her sister Betty. And her aunt said, first of all, I'm your great aunt. Your mother's mother was my sister. She was 13 when your mother was born.
I mean, damn, boy.
So you see, there was a child born in a family, and the child was 13, and the family didn't want anybody to know. Somebody walked, kind of like with your mom, you know, the grandma gives the kids up, your mom gets raised thinking her mom is her mom, but it's not really her mom, it's her, or the grandma was the mom or something. It happens all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, like anytime something like that comes up, everybody hushes.
Yeah,
Everybody hushes.
I have a really close friend. She's passed away now, but she was adopted in New Hampshire. And her adoption situation, she was an only child. And her adoption situation was her father was a mailman, and he delivered mail at a law practice. And the attorney knew that he was a good man and that he had no children. And he always donated to the Christmas Children's Fund through the law office. So one day he goes into work, and the attorney tells him he's doing an adoption for a newborn baby, and asks if he and his wife would like to adopt this newborn baby. So he goes home and asks his wife, and of course, they want the newborn baby. So they adopt the baby. They raise the baby. My friend, Christina, and she knows all along that she's adopted, but she doesn't know the whole situation because her mother was very secretive about the situation. So after her mother died, she starts to try to investigate. And she does some investigation, which leads her back to a church in New Jersey. And this old woman is there in the church. And when she walks into the church, she's amazed because she sees herself in this old woman's face. And she confronts the woman, and the woman said, "No, you have me confused with someone else." But my friend felt differently. Well, she keeps trying to communicate, get some information from the church, and suddenly she gets a letter from Dallas, Texas, from an attorney who happens to have the same name, Christina, who happens to have a sister who's also an attorney in Dallas, whose name is Joy. My girlfriend's name is Christina Joy. And they send a letter and tell her to stop bothering um their mother. So now my friend suspects that the woman in New Jersey is her biological mother and the two girls in Dallas are her sisters. All along, there's family history, a family story, things that people don't want divulged. A lot, it's just hard because some people are able to unload their past and some are not. And some people don't understand that
Yeah, I'm
sometimes.
reading that, Las Vegas. I'm reading what you writing there. I think there might be more of that than what I ever dreamed of.
Oh, yeah, there are.
I know
Uh,
people. I know people that get quiet. Because you know, uh, hey, just take my word for it. I know people get quiet,
they either get quiet or they talk up and tell lies.
and most times they just get quiet.
The people will tell horrible lies to protect a family, to protect a friend. Um, I'm always truthful. My granddaughter was molested by her mother's boyfriend for years, since like childhood, like 3 years old. Never said anything. All of a sudden, at 17, she becomes strong and she steps forward and tells somebody. Come to find out, he's been doing this to other little girls in the family. And he went to prison for 3 freaking years. That's it. 3 years.
And he was doing that to a 3-year-old.
Yeah.
How do you do that to a damn 3-year-old?
Well, after the trial came up, the reason why he ended up going to prison was because um, they were able to try to make it look like, well, you knew it happened. You were 12, you were 13, you knew. And they started making her look like the criminal instead of the victim until until my daughter stepped forward and had suspected when she was little something weird was going on, but she couldn't put her finger on it. And my ex son in law confronted a cousin, and it came up that he had done that to their 18-month-old child recently, and they
Oh
caught him.
Lord.
They had DNA tests, and they caught him. But the thing about it is, he only spent 3 years. That's it. Got off for, I don't know, good behavior or something. Crowded prison, I don't know. Out living, still living the life.
It's crazy world, ain't it?
It is crazy when, you see so much that goes on and so much in our lives that happens to us. It's like I always tell you and a lot of people we start out as a little onion seed, and year after year another layer is added to that onion, and the layers add up, and there's good stuff and there's bad stuff and there's good stuff, and all those layers in our lives, we either learn from the lessons or we bury the lessons.
Every
But
every woman I've ever seen, they can tell you some shit.
yeah, and you know, there, like I said, there's so much. There's so much. The Bible tells us that the earth, we like to call it heaven on earth. Well, every once in a while we find a little heaven on earth. But the Bible tells us that earth is the devil's playground. And it sure is. Because what happens is we're all over here trying to live, we're trying to be good, and we're trying to be as close to godly as we possibly can, while all around us, unsuspectedly, there's so much evil.
Yep. I don't
It's
even.
just,
Hey, I don't even know if I even want all that stuff in my mind. Cause I think about stuff too much anyway.
well, I know. And the more, the more you witness, yeah, see, he paid the DA. That happens. It's not just in child mis misguided or child abuse or whatever you want to call it. It's not just in those cases. Divorce cases. Divorce cases are so stacked. They're so stacked. Somebody always wins and somebody always loses. That's just how it is. Who gets paid the most? Who lies the most? And who gets away with the most lies? Everything can be stacked against you. In my case, I had a wealthy ex-husband, and he paid a lot of people to make me look like an unfit mother.
Yeah, Pamela, it does. Like a man like me, it's really hard to believe. But I know, I know some that's been to prison. And it's like unreal. And
And then
then,
they get out of prison and they talk about this reformation, reformed. Well, what's legally reformed is only reformed for the good person. There are good people that make bad choices and they end up in prison. But yet
Hey,
when they get,
hey, Pamela,
uh-huh,
like what I know about, like what I know about the most is there's always some dirty old bastard in the family. You know, an uncle or something like that, you know.
Daddy, I know you think I'm off the wall, okay? But everybody needs to think, okay? Think. God created heaven and earth. God made man and woman, Adam and Eve, in the garden. Everything was perfect. And what happened? The devil chose the weakest emotional person, who was Eve, and she bit the apple. And they ran and hid because they knew they were naked. The original sin was sexually oriented. The original sin. And so much of what you hear and see, the deviance, the unfaithfulness in marriages, the movies, the TV shows, the music, the crimes, what do they always seem to roll back to? Somehow, somebody's getting blackmailed. Why? It's not because they stole a piece of bubble gum at Diamond Shamrock and they got caught. It always rolls back. The biggest and best sin of all, the original sin.
I had a man uh, that I was good friends with, and he don't know what's wrong with me to this day about him because we used to be real good friends, and he still wants to be buddies and go fishing and everything. But his wife told me something one time, and like, and it was true. What happened was true. And like once, like I don't forget about that kind of thing.
Well, you want to love the person, but you don't have to love the sin.
Yeah, but
So,
like that's to me, that's unforgiving.
yeah, but like I said, you separate yourself from that, just like you have. If you don't want to be his friend, you can still pray for the man. You can still love the man, but you don't have to associate yourself with the sinner. You don't.
Yeah, what I mean. See, I've had quite a few friends like that, but like I don't forget about it in 6 months. I don't forget about it. And matter of fact, that particular one had been 40 years,
Yeah,
and I had never been the same. He
right.
was messing with. He wasn't blood, but that was his granddaughter. See,
Yeah,
and the granddaughter used to sleep in the bed with the grandma and the grandpa that wasn't blood. But
right.
that don't matter to me. She was still real little. I got to let this dog out.
I hear somebody. You know, I think we've all been in situations where something has something is just so sinful, and
All right.
every time we see somebody,
All right.
we constantly, like I said, we have to love the person, not the sin. Yeah, you caught a friend's wife with a man before. I used to work with people, and I knew they were having affairs. I knew it. I saw it every day, but I couldn't justify it. I wouldn't be a part of it. When the conversation came up, or the flirting came up, or anything else came up, I had to walk away. And I'll be the first to tell them, I don't know I know what you're doing, and what you're doing is wrong. Don't involve me. That's all you can do, is just tell people you know what they're doing, and you know that it's wrong. I respect you as a coworker, a neighbor, a friend, but I can't let your sin become my next sin. That's all you can do. Hey, Miss Myrtle, I see you out there. That's right. A person who's doing wrong always says that the person who tells the truth is lying. That's, you know, I caught my ex-husband cheating, and when I made a suggestion, a good suggestion that proved it, at that point I was just making the suggestion. As a good wife, I basically was making the suggestion to give him a chance to stop it, and we would just go on with our marriage. But he told me he couldn't believe I accused him of such a horrible thing. And when he left me to divorce me, it was because literally I had decided not to be uh the living with the enemy kind of person wife anymore. But the whole time when he left me, he waited 6 years to file the final divorce. Well, 4 years to file the divorce, and another 2 years to finalize it, because that gave him time for the two oldest children to turn 18, so he wouldn't have to pay child support. And the younger two, uh, he only had to pay child support 2.5 years because he waited. But the whole time, making me out to be the unfaithful one, but I wasn't being unfaithful. He was the one that was. Before the finalizing of the divorce, during the separation, during 22 years of marriage, the whole bit. So it's always it's always when you know the truth and somebody else starts blaming you, you know that you're not the problem. Well, it's starting to rain here. We had some rain and some tornadoes earlier. That the tornadoes touched down in uh the tornadoes touched down in about 7 miles from me. We didn't even get any rain, but now the rain is here. Um, Danny, I'm going to try to go out to my garage. I don't know. I may lose reception.
You okay?
Um, you won't be able to hear me if I stay here because I'm under a metal roof. You talk. Give me a couple seconds.
Okay. Hey, y'all, I got, when I eat these crystals here, I got two crystals left. But I give some to the dogs. The Hodges family, y'all, ain't never heard one single bad thing about the Hodges. But Tammy's family, they more than one. They more than one dog.
It's just sad.
And I'm like family. You know what I mean? That ought to be 30 years. Mandatory 30 years. Don't give a damn how good they act. Or you can be fooled easy.
Yeah, it's just terrible that I just feel like our 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 criminal justice system is is too 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 lenient.
Yeah, life will be right with me too, Michelle. But I mean, I ain't joking. I mean, I really think, like, if you done a crime like that, man, they ought to cut their nuts out.
Well, unfortunately, medically, that doesn't take it away. You can take that away, and it
Um,
still doesn't take the.
I know, but still, you ain't got to explain it. But they wouldn't be too damn happy.
I don't know, Danny. There are so many issues with mental health and that have gone unnoticed for so many years. And like I said, it's criminal weakness. You know, what makes one child, you know, um, go to their grandparents and see, you know, some loose change sitting on the coffee table and they pick it up and then they get caught and then they're made to feel so bad that they did that thing, and it's explained to them that that's stealing and stealing is bad, and that child learns from that lesson and never steals again. And then there's somebody in life that never steals ever. They were told it was wrong, and then there's that person that steals and never learns the lesson, and they keep stealing and stealing and stealing, and then they go to prison and they get out of prison, and what do? They steal There's just no reforming some acts of crime. And I think that's what's wrong with our society is that we just we just we're just too soft, I think, when it comes to our criminal justice system.
You know, it's bad if the woman's grown. That's bad. But like what y'all talking about here is unforgiving.
Well, there again, I go back on my Bible lesson and I know that one is a mortal sin and the other one is a carnal sin. So, in my mind, they're both carnal sins, unforgivable at all. But yet, I also know that God is very forgiving, and you might be surprised when you get into heaven and see how many of those horrible people are right there. Of course, we'll never know because we won't recognize him.
Well, I won't like them in heaven neither.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, look at here. I'm hell about that now. I'm hell about that. I don't. I'm talking when I say unforgiving, I mean it.
Oh, I know.
I ain't playing their bit.
Well, that's why so many men end up in court when they find out that somebody did that to their child, and then they end up in jail because they just take justice in their own hands.
I wouldn't have to worry about it. Tammy would. Uh, Tammy don't play that stuff neither. You know, the women understand better. You know.
Oh yeah.
We we kept close eye on our daughter. I mean, real close.
Mm-hmm.
But Tammy, she's been through that mess, but like not like uh I'm talking about them like just trying to.
Yeah.
They was just trying to. Like this dirty old men.
Yep.
But she wasn't actually messed with, like in a bad way. They's like trying to. Damn
Yeah.
kin damn kin folks.
Yeah. I know my stepdaughter. It was her grandmother's second husband, and turns out that he done it to other girls in the family. It was just her that stepped up at 7 years old and told her dad or a teacher or somebody. And back in that day, he got off. They said she was lying.
That shit's sickening, ain't it?
It is. And
I'm
she's
talking about.
never been right. Never. She had 4 kids of her own before she was 18 years old. And, she lost custody of those kids to their dad, who has done a good job raising them and taking care of them. But she's never been right in the head since.
I don't doubt it. And I can tell just from what Las Vegas been saying and you've been saying, it's worse than I thought.
Yeah.
I can tell it's worse than I thought it was.
I think that it's like, I guess the best way when you find out that it happened to your own child to explain it is the guilt that a parent feels when they find out that they somehow let their own child down, but then the the anger that you feel towards the perpetrator, it is like literally hell on earth.
Yeah, I can tell you that I would be in prison.
Well, I heard
Cause
on the news.
I'm like the kind of person I would never be able to let it go.
No, we had a one of the news, those news stories in the beginning about the loss of life due to illegal persons was right here about 6 miles from my house. It happened to a teenage girl. And recently it happened to a woman who made the news, who said those people live in her community, and all along
That's the bad thing, Las Vegas.
that you are, is what my granddaughter said. She was so afraid. And you know with this thing that's going on now, people are supporting, and you know this immigration stuff that's going on, and you support something, and you support the way the justice system works until it comes right to your house. And when it comes to your house, everything changes. The whole thing changes.
Let me tell you something, Pamela, and I'll tell everybody. I'm pretty sure this ain't too good a subject for nobody in here. Because if it if it makes me feel sick, I know it probably does y'all. And every woman I've ever seen, they can tell you something. I
Yeah.
uh I'm like getting off of this right here. We don't never want to bring this back up again. I just don't think it's a good thing to be talking about. I mean, there's it's happened to people that they they don't want to hear it. I mean, I know they don't. I know from being able to see in the dark, they don't even want to hear it.
Yes, I understand.
I want to thank Pamela for coming in here.
Yes,
And
and Las Vegas, I really hope, I know sometimes you have to you have to have a place to tell your story, And thank you, Danny, for letting Las Vegas tell her story.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's done got it's done got like where it's just damn sickening.
Yeah.
I mean, all the women out there and everything. Like that shit ain't necessary.
Well, we probably better go back to talking about dill pickle chips.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, I mean, I know there's just people just don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
They're probably been trying to forget it their whole life.
Yeah. Those layers of onions.
Yep. How true. And see,
Yeah.
like, and y'all made me think. Y'all made me realize it's actually worse than I thought.
Yeah. But,
Yeah, I did. I let them back in. Oh,
Danny,
the door was open and they all came back in bare paws.
when we talk about things that happen and you tell stories about, you know, people that ripped you off when you were roofing or whatever, those are all human things that happen that affect our lives along the way. You know, if you got bullied in school or, you know, somebody got a job that you thought you should have, those are all things.
Yeah, well, nothing happened real bad to Tammy, but it's bad enough she won't talk about it. She's told me before.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think nobody's gonna be upset with you, Las Vegas. It's just,
No.
it's just, it's probably a lot of people that's in the category of what we talking about because I just don't know what, I mean, I just don't know what in the world. And I mean, I can't imagine it. And I mean, all the grown women out there that would love to have somebody, and I just don't understand it. I'm like,
Well, those are all human stories that, like the loss of a loved one, a divorce, um, any kind of legal situations. Those are all things that happen to people. And sometimes, you can watch a creator that, like I said, count it all joy, no matter what it is. Sometimes you hear a story and all of a sudden you say, oh my gosh, my story wasn't as bad as I thought it was. And then you watch creators that are struggling, and then you see some that don't look like they're struggling. This world of the internet has really opened up a lot of communication for people,
yeah.
a lot of learning.
And
I mean,
see here,
gosh,
and see here's the thing about it, family. I think there's a good many sick-minded men.
yeah, but you know what, Danny? I think there are, but there are also a lot of mentally damaged women.
Oh, I bet they is.
And um, for whatever the reason in their life, they're they become vindictive towards men or uh I mean you'd be surprised.
You know, I mean, it's like that movie I seen 13 Hours, that was a true movie. And, I mean, like, in that movie, it keeps getting deeper and deeper and deeper, until I just about damn can't hardly stand it. Did you see that movie, Pam? Oh, she went out, yeah. That movie, that movie, 13 Hours was, man, like little handful of people fought all night long over there at some embassy. And man, the people just kept coming and coming and coming and coming, coming to get them. And I'm talking about I like went, before the movie was over, like hell, I just went damn crazy. Like wanting to help. Oh, I mean, oh, that was that thing about Hillary Clinton. But like, I can understand a soldier getting up and just running into the enemy with with everything blazing. I can, because I've done like that just watching the movie. Like I mean, man, it was bad. Yeah, I don't know what happened there, Pamela. I was asking you, did you ever see that movie, 13 Hours? I reckon that's how long that lasted. And people started coming in there, and I reckon it was a SEAL team. They wasn't many of them. And man, them people was just coming and coming and coming and coming. Well, I mean, I got that movie downloaded, and yes, that's what this reminds me of. It just keeps getting worse. I want to thank all y'all for coming in here. Hey, y'all, maybe I'll get on here tomorrow night. We try to get on here and talk about something different. And hey, we talked about it, everything. I don't care to ever have this conversation right here again. And you didn't do nothing wrong, Las Vegas. And family didn't do nothing wrong. It just like hard to listen to. Yeah, you are gone. You gone down here at the bottom. It's just had you stuck there, family, but you was gone, yeah. I seen you when you left the room. Yeah, 13 hours. That was about that was some stuff. They was trying to get help, couldn't get help. You didn't do nothing wrong. Y'all probably take it better than I do, but like I just can't hardly get over that kind of thing. I just it's just hard for me to understand. All right there, Bear Paws. Hey, good night, everybody. Hey, y'all mama be live in the morning, 10 o'clock. Hey, good night, everybody. Bye, 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 bye.